What if you cannot pay? What if you are disabled? What if you are unable to pay at any given point? They do not offer any kind of alternative when it comes to people that are not able to pay. For you to get any kind of help, any kind of funds to pay for that mandatory bill, it is next to impossible. It is very difficult to get any kind of funds. Those funds are usually very limited to only probably a few hundred people out of perhaps hundreds of thousands that may be unable to pay at any given point. Only a few hundred or a few thousand individuals may be able to access those funds. Those funds are also subject to massive amounts of corruption, massive amounts of foul play by the people that receive those funds. It is just egregious. It is just outrageous. It is something that has been happening for many generations and appears it will continue to happen. That is why I advocate for living off the grid, being off the grid, basically turning your back on that corrupt and abusive system, which is the power grid system. Power grid system has been in bed and involved with the government for many generations again in most U.S. cities. And it is something that is corrupt to the core. It is something that basically has no saving, has no reforming, has no fixing. It must be let go. It must be demolished and abolished and be let go, be turned your back on. And in its place, I believe a free off-the-grid system should take its place. I believe solar and wind today could take the place of the current grid system. Yes, there must be a lot of concessions made. There must be rules and regulations put in place, but it is very possible. We have companies now, left and right, that are attempting to do something like that, although very far from being an off-the-grid system. They have solar companies, solar roof lease companies that will supposedly replace your power bill from your power company to the solar company's power bill. But I believe this is very much a fallacy because they really do not get off the grid. For one, really, they do not take your power company off of the situation. They very much remain. The solar company takes over your bill, takes over your account, and they pay it for you. That is not the solution. The solution, in my mind, is removing the power company altogether, taking your financial support from the power company altogether. That $300, $350, $400, $450 bill that you're paying to your power company would be burned, banished, abolished, stopped. It would cease to exist. So you would not pay the power company any money. In its place, you would have solar power, solar energy wherever available, wherever possible. And where not possible, then you would have wind power, which many areas of the country do have the availability and accessibility to wind power. Most areas in the United States are capable of producing enough solar power to power up a home. I believe this to be true 100%. From the southernmost tip of Florida to the northernmost tip of Wisconsin. So probably some exceptions in Alaska. The whole continental United States is able to produce enough solar power energy to power up a home. Of course, with varying degrees. Of course, you're not going to get as much sunlight in Washington State than you would in Southern California or Southern Arizona. There's just no comparison. Yet, you can power up a home in Northern Washington State, very much so, by using a lot more panels, by using a different inclination angle for those panels, and by using a lot less electrical energy for that home. There are many alternatives to your electrical energy, your alternating current energy, your AC current coming from your wall socket. There are many alternatives for that. There are many alternatives to energy that generates heat. There are alternatives for that. There are alternatives for cooling systems, heating systems again. There are alternatives for cooking equipments, washing equipments. Everything within the household could be ran by solar generated energy, wind generated energy, and even geothermal energy. I have discussed many of those before, many of those technologies, many of those concepts. The abuse must stop. Power companies will only jack up their rates every once in a while for very little reason other than their speculation, their estimation, their thinking of the future. And as fossil fuel resources become more scarce, more costly to access, so will your rates. And this is unsustainable. This must stop. And the laws and rules and the power companies and the way that you must pay your bill must change as well. It should not be obligatory to pay your power bill. It should not be obligatory to have power from any one power company. That is just despotic. That is just not of a free nation. Give me your comments on this, what you think of this, and do comment on if you have looked at your power usage and how that compares to how much you're getting charged for your power. Again, it is mandatory to have power in most regions, most areas. Even if you use zero power from the power company, you will still pay a power bill every month. That is just the sad truth and the sad situation that we find ourselves in today, and it has been going on for generations. Thank you very much. I do look for your comments and do look to attract your attention once more in the future. Thanks.